Benchmark, the voice of business. Presented by LMD.
On this week's edition of Benchmark, in our first installment, we bring you the results of the latest exclusive nationwide LMD Nielsen Business Confidence Survey. Then in our feature segment, we turn the spotlight on Deshamania Professor M.T.A. Furkan, chairman of the Confifi Group of Companies, for his take on post-war Sri Lanka. And we wrap up this edition with the managing director of the Nielsen Company Lanka, Shahin Khada, who analyzes the BCI data. That's the lineup for Benchmark this week. Hello and welcome to Benchmark. I'm Savitri Rodrigo. We start our show with the results of the latest LMD Nielsen exclusive island-wide poll in November. The LMD Nielsen Business Confidence Index, or BCI, nudged upwards by 5 basis points to register 158 on the sentiment scale, only a point away from the average in the last 12 months. The Nielsen Company Lanka's pollsters completed their work on the LMD Commission survey a day after D-Day for business in this country. That was 9th November, when the Rajapaksa administration hastily passed its Bill of Rights, the revival of underperforming enterprises and underutilized assets, thanks to a hefty majority in the legislature. Nielsen's managing director Shahin Khada, however, points out that the impact of the bill would not have been picked up in November, as 90% of the field work was completed in the first week of the month. He adds that as 80% of his firm's sample population represents small and medium-scale businesses, it is unlikely that this segment would be overly concerned about the new law. Amongst the reasons for the index being flat, he explains that businesses are seeing their future revenue expectations as being the same as in the previous year, rather than expecting higher top lines. We will have more insights from Shahin Khada a little later on in the program. There are two ways of looking at the improvement in sentiment pertaining to the national economy that's reflected in the November poll. If one were to see the glass as being half full, the rise in the proportion of executives who now feel that the economy will improve in the year ahead by 10 percentage points to 47 is encouraging. If the glass were to be seen as being half empty, the fact that a clear majority in a range of 51 to 57% in the 3 months to September said the same could come into the picture. In what could be viewed as a contradiction of sorts, the word on the medium-term outlook for sales trends has suddenly turned positive, with more than 6 in 10 corporates expecting their sales volumes to get better in the next 12 months. That's a noteworthy turnaround from around a third only a month ago. It may come as a surprise, but the latest survey findings suggest that business people are holding on to their faith in Sri Lanka's investment prospects. When more than 4 in 5 interviewees rate the investment climate as being very good or good for the second month in a row, there's no denying that optimism is in the air on the FDI front. There are skeptics too. Government policies are not favorable for investment, and we are focusing on short-term benefits rather than long-term development. Since the global market is becoming worse, we can't expect FDIs, so there should be a proper mechanism to sustain growth, says one such naysayer. The new year will be rife with question marks dotting both the developed world and the little one we live in. And the new year will be rife with question marks dotting both the developed world and the little one we live in. At the top of the list of what-ifs lie the post-mortem on the Eurozone crisis. If and when it is averted, the path that the US economy takes, will it avert a double-dip recession that will inevitably permeate the landscapes of the West and beyond? The IMF's take on Budget 2012 here at home, will it release the next tranche from the $2.6 billion facility? And if so, when? And the government's intentions in the post-budget era. Will it walk the talk and meet the fiscal targets it has set for itself? We go in for a short break now. When we return, we talk to Deshamania Professor M.T.A. Furkan, chairman of the Confifi Group of Companies, for his views on post-war Sri Lanka. Stay with us.